This a 20-minute race, slightly longer race for the minis, and they get underway. And it's a pretty even start for the Kirkpatrick brothers. On the inside then is Nev, David Kirkpatrick eking ahead into Paddock Hill Bend, and he doesn't go through. Not probably terribly important to lead a mini race from on the first corner.
Yeah, Nev got back underneath him into the apex.
David on the outside into Druids, and the really one long line. Oh, there's a bit of contact in the middle there. In the Mighties, the Class A cars, but they've survived the moment.
The car that got really sideways was it 42, I think that was?
William Burnham, I reckon.
Yes, it was William Burnham, bright yellow car.
So they all survived that moment. It could have been worse than what it was, I think. So into Clearways and Clark Curve they come for the first time. The Mighty Minis Championship, which we regularly see at the Mini Festival here at Brands Hatch, and towards the end of the race is when we get lap traffic where the Supers lap the Mighties. Meanwhile, it's side by side for the lead. On the outside line is David Kirkpatrick, but Nev's not going to let him have it. They both break late into Paddock Hill Bend. Tighter line out of the corner for David, but he hasn't got the momentum to draw alongside. Meanwhile, Ben Butler behind, who I think's moved up from a Mighty. They're free abreast. Round the outside goes Greg Jenkins, and they're going to get through the corner. Well, they're still side by side. They're almost still free abreast, actually, as they come down towards Graham Hill Bend. And Greg Jenkins back ahead of Ben Butler as they turn into Graham Hill Bend.
Yeah, Butler and Jenkins over the line. Jenkins and Butler now, and you can see Jenkins in that purple car chasing the Kirkpatrick brothers, who hustle through Surtees into McLaren and Clearways. Purple car washes out wide. That's the car of Jenkins. Butler will get back into his slipstream as a result of all that.
We're going to see the challenges into paddock like we did a lap ago. I think we might well do, as David Kirkpatrick looks to the outside into paddock, but he slots in back underneath his brother. But as they battle, that has brought Jenkins and Butler back to them, so the top four are separated by less than a second at the end of 2 laps with that order. But now with Greg Jenkins in third place, right on the tail of David Kirkpatrick, and Ian Slark joining in too. So I think we're going to have 5 cars in this lead battle down into Graham Hill Bend on the 3rd lap of the race.
Again, that tricycling effect through the corners, and Jenkins and Butler have drawn up behind the car with the cross over the top of it with a Union flag of David Kirkpatrick. Nevin's making a bit of a break out front.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because at the start of the lap, he had David almost alongside him, but with the effect of Greg Jenkins perhaps just taking David's attentions to behind him. But the 5 leaders through it. The car at the back, which getting all the tow, Ian Slark, that sets the fastest lap on a 1:03.71. Underneath the pole position time is the aimshop.com fastest lap of the race for Ian Slark. But he's got to work his way through the order, and he's trying to do so immediately on the inside of Ben Butler. They potentially rub door panels for a moment, but through has gone Ian Slark then into 4th.
Maybe just about scuffed a wheel arch extension, but Slark moving up now in that sort of greyish car in 4th place. It's very difficult to break away in these mini races.
Been the case for the last 60-odd years of mini racing, hasn't it,
Yep.
Marcus? It's been a highlight of the British club racing scene, whichever mini category it is. They're the Mighty Minis, the Class A cars. There's 2 of them battling there. Ollie Samways ahead of Chris Didcott. Ollie, who did a bit of sport specials racing, I think, when he started out, but now in a mini, and he had a good season last year, but under pressure today. Meanwhile, Slark's done another fastest lap, a 1:01.70. Here they are out of Paddock Hill Bend. Slark has to go to the outside this time. Greg Jenkins ahead of him. And there's just no way for Nev Kirkpatrick to put away, but he has led every moment of this race, Marcus, so far.
I think that there was a bumper ahead from his brother going into paddock the first time, but of course he dived up the inside through the hole, and he's led all the important bits, put it that way. And he's meriting at number 1 on his car at the moment.
That's right. Can he stay there with this longer race? There's still 15 minutes to go.
Slark braked earlier than Jenkins ahead of him going into clearways, but got on the power earlier. And see with the Ben Butler now in that green car at the back of that quintet gets the benefit of the toe. He's probably not quite close enough yet.
And he's gone for it in the
Down
end.
the inside goes Slark. That was quick. And he lunged through the gap, ran out wide over the curb, got the tail fractionally out of line, but didn't think about lifting off the throttle, that was for sure, because that's not what you do in a Mini.
That's right.
Keep your boot in it gets a little bit squirrely at the back.
Like the Kirkpatrick, Ian Slark's been racing Minis a long time and used all of that experience on that move to get ahead of Greg Jenkins with Ben Butler, who I don't think's done quite as much racing as the other two, or some of the others in that group anyway. He's just behind. 1.2 seconds separate the top five. Class A leaders still Ollie Samways and Chris Didcott. There's plenty of battles to be found in that group as well, as you can see coming out of Druids now. 33 there. That's William Tyrrell, who is in 7th in the class. But another aimshot.com fastest lap for Ian Slark. Can we get under a minute? We're only 33 thousandths of a second away from that magic minute at the moment. Meanwhile, there's 9. That's Graham Shepherd. And here comes Slark for second. He's on the inside line of David Kirkpatrick at the hairpin. Kirkpatrick runs out wide. Slark is mirror to mirror with the car number 10 alongside David Kirkpatrick. He's got the inside line. Did Slark avoid bumping the back of David Kirkpatrick there? That's going to allow the leader to get away while they battle behind.
Jenkins touching the grass on the outside there, goes round the outside of Slark. That was all about lost momentum for Ian Slark, but he comes back strongly here, and you can see he tucks back in behind Jenkins in the purple car with the Dayglow orange wheels.
It's allowed Steve Rideout to close. The driver in 6th spot is joining in now, so it's 6 for the lead, less than 2 seconds between them. Driving standard flag going out, I can see as well. That is unknown car at the moment. He's getting that. And the first car to be lapped in a moment is Claire Jeffries, who's making her racing debut today. And off the road, it's gone the leader. What happened there to Nev Kirkpatrick?
We didn't see that happening, but Nev Kirkpatrick understeered wide.
I wonder if he didn't get back on with it. I wonder if there's a car problem there. But yeah, the point I was going to make, Claire Jeffries making her racing debut today. She's a former Team GB horse trialled rider. In her first car race, round the outside come the leaders, now led by David Kirkpatrick, of course. And he runs a little wide. Oh, and Ben Butler's gone off now, so that's the second of the lead group we've lost. And he's got stuck in the gravel, I'm afraid, at Clearways. So from what was a 6-car lead battle, I think we're down to 4. As those 4 cars coming through, they fan across the circuit. They've got another car to lap now, which is number 13, Morgan Bartley. But it is David Kirkpatrick from Greg Jenkins and Ian Slark.
And all the headlight flashing action there from David Kirkpatrick.
And Nev's in the pits. Nev Kirkpatrick into the pit lane. So I just wonder if it was a mechanical issue up there at Druids, which put him off the circuit. And we're going to get a safety car as well. So the 750 Made Club safety car is peeled onto the circuit ahead of the leaders at Graham Hill Bend. And I'm not sure some of the drivers saw the safety car boards. Because Greg Jenkins, who was ahead, is not ahead of all of the cars he should have been. I think they've sorted themselves out. And now David Kirkpatrick, who must have an automatic flasher, is flashing at the safety car. I'm not sure how well that will go down if he doesn't turn his flasher off. But it is David Kirkpatrick the lead, and there's Ben Butler, who's in the gravel trap at Clearway. So it all really happened there on lap 8 of the race.
Yeah, so safety car out now. And it shouldn't be too long to retrieve the Butler car, but we'll soon see. There's the Renault leading them around. That's somewhat irritating, the flashing lights, isn't it?
Well, I can't imagine the race control would find it too amusing being flashed at the safety car for as long as it's been happening. Obviously, it's an automatic thing,
yeah,
but you probably should turn it off.
It's a system in the car which is
there's a reason why some endurance championships limit the amount of flashes you're allowed to do in one go. And, well, we'll see if anything is said about this post-race for David Kirkpatrick, but he's not turning them off, that's for sure.
Maybe that's the limp mode speed. And if it's going at less than 35 miles an hour, those stay on.
So the order then, 10 David Kirkpatrick lead, second is 70 Greg Jenkins, third is 15 Ian Slark, fourth is 7 Steve Rideout, fifth is number 8 Stuart Coombs, and sixth 61 Matt Baker. There is Ben Butler's car in the gravel.
Well and truly beached, isn't it?
Yeah, I think some of the gravel tracks here at Brands Hatch were filled up over the winter as well, which may not have helped Ben Butler's case, but mini wheels aren't particularly big to start with, so digging your way through a gravel trap isn't particularly what minis were made to do. The Class A cars, the Mighty Minis, that's being led by 58 Ollie Samways. There's number 93, that's Sam Slater, who's an estate agent from Bristol and a three-time karting champion. As I think most of the cars on this grid are, they're 1990s Rover Mini for Sam Slater. But he is, well, in 5th position in the class. So Ollie Samway's the leader, Chris Didcott is second, William Burnham third, Graham Shepherd fourth, and then Sam Slater in 5th ahead of James Jenkins. So it all comes to a slow behind the safety car. As a racing driver, Marcus, what's it like when you're thick in competition and all of a sudden you have to come back to a controlled pace?
It's either frustrating or it relights your fire if you've a long way off. And if you had a moment somewhere, you've dropped a long way back, but get the opportunity to be reunited with the pack, then it's terribly exciting. And you really sort of think, well, time to reset. If you're leading by several seconds and you see the whole thing expunged by the safety car, then you could be quite chup about the whole thing, less than gruntled.
So 8 minutes on the clock, so we should get some more racing laps in before the conclusion of this. So there's the safety car boards. That's up at on the standard Clark curve, on the exit Clark curve.
At least on a day like this, though, Josh, you don't have to worry about excessive temperature build-up under the bonnet. Everything should be fine in these cars, but on a hot summer's day, you'd be watching those gauges like a hawk for rising water temperature, particularly. Yeah,
for those of you who are watching, who are not in the UK today, it's not a very warm day. It's 9 degrees Celsius.
Well, it's positively luxury after this morning when it was 6.
That's right. And this particular weather app on my phone says we're expecting rain in just over an hour's time. So we'll see what comes of that. That shouldn't affect this Mighty Minis race, though. But yeah, not a very warm day in the UK.
They've been in short supply this year, I've noticed.
Yeah, wet or cold days have been pretty regular over the last 6 months or so. And some of the circuits, when we were at Donington Park, the first M50 Road Club meeting, it's very mucky offline. I think it's a bit better now. The car's been brought into the pit lane a little bit too soon, though, for the safety car to come in this time. So I think one more lap behind the safety car, then we get, what, four or 5 minutes of racing. So 4 or 5 laps. David Kirkpatrick lights are still flashing at the safety car. You do just have to wonder what might be thought of this, because it's not really what you want in your mirrors, is it, for lap after lap? And
not what these cars had when they were new, shall we say.
Yes, there's a comment on the live stream chat as well, suggesting about LED lights on minis is not what you come to expect. But
there'll be some scratching through the regulations booklet, won't there, to see.
That's right. Anyway, safety car lights are out. Probably won't have to worry about lap traffic now, with just 5 minutes to go. See, is that Ollie Samways who's backed off to give himself... Oh no, Samways is a second car. I think it's Claire Jeffries, isn't it, the former horse trial rider, who's got the whole pack swarming behind her, led by Ollie Samways. Wonder if that could bring some more cars into the Class A fight, but the safety cars come in.
Yep, they've been freed.
And David Kirkpatrick and Greg Jenkins have made a jump on the restart. Big gap back to Ian Slark, and that's going to give Greg Jenkins a chance to challenge on the outside line into Paddock Hill Bend. They're wheel to wheel as they turn right through Paddock. Slide their way through, only as many as can, but still on the tighter line. Kirkpatrick under threat from Jenkins, who tries to break later, but it's Kirkpatrick using his experience, Marcus, to stay ahead, but only just.
Yeah, exactly. And down the hill, and you've got Kirkpatrick switching across to the right before he tucks into Graham Hill Bend, and Greg Jenkins just sort of sitting in his slipstream. This is not a place to overtake him, but if he can engineer a good exit from clearways, there's every possibility that he can tow back up and potentially snatch the lead over the timing line.
Yeah, they're going to have to start working out where they want to be at clearways on that last lap. Like you say, we've already seen it this afternoon that you can slipstream your way ahead, and in mini racing that's even bigger possibility. On this particular lap at the line, it is Kirkpatrick ahead, but only just. Here comes Jenkins.
And more momentum around the outside.
And he gets it's just a long way round, but then switches back. A great move if he has the momentum. But again, David Kirkpatrick knows
he's
the head
got it
goes
on the inside.
line.
He's made it.
That's right.
And then he's got sideways though, and that's lost in momentum. That was classic.
And that could bring Ian Slark back into it, who was a little bit further behind. But yeah, it was a big slide Jenkins had, but it was a really nice move, wasn't it? How he turned the car in tight out of Paddock Hill Bend, which gave him that inside crucial line for the hairpin. And he's now ahead, so it is 70 Greg Jenkins. For the first time in this race, Kirkpatrick does not lead. We had Nev Kirkpatrick early on, David Kirkpatrick more recently, but now it's Greg Jenkins, the race leader. And with 3 laps to go, Marcus.
Yeah, I reckon so. And Slark's getting back in on the act now as a result of that. Jenkins over the line. Kirkpatrick not close enough to get a really advantageous tow. Those lights still flashing annoyingly. And up the inside looks Ian Slark. And Slark gets a lovely line through Paddock. And he's not quite close enough. He's going to have to try the outside or the late cutback onto what is the perfect line through Druids. Kirkpatrick going to slide down the inside into Graham Hill Bend. No, he has to back off, thinks twice about it. Now it's a big cumulative tow this time on the Brabham straight past the pits if Ian Slark stays where he is. And Kirkpatrick closer that time to the lead car of Jenkins.
He's got a pretty nice run through clearways as well. So he's right on the boot lid, and he's having to pull out the toe pretty early though. And like you say, that should help Ian Slark behind. You get sort of a double effect toe. But it's Kirkpatrick on the inside then for Paddock. And nothing that Greg Jenkins can do about that butt slot in behind with Ian Slark inside. Is Jenkins going to do this trick again on the inside out of Paddock? No, Kirkpatrick's able to cover it off onto the penultimate lap of the race. To the outside goes Jenkins this time into Druids.
And Rideout's not that far behind now. He's catching them.
That's right, yeah. So as they battle ahead, they compromise their lines.
That was Rideout that his personal best last time round. 60.060. Shepherd in the gravel.
Yeah, Graham Shepherd was 10th and something like 4th in class before that happened, I reckon. But car 9 is out of it. That's up at Clearway, so there's yellow flags at the final corner, which is going to compromise any challenges at that part of the lap. So up across the line, and there's a checkered flag possibly going to go out with that incident at the final corner. Let's see. On the run up towards the line, yeah, the checkered flag goes out, so David Kirkpatrick takes the win, and the top 4 were separated by a blanket in the end. Just a second. Kirkpatrick, Jenkins, Slark and Rideout. What's happening in Class A? Well, Ollie Samway started the lap 1.3 seconds ahead, so car 58, Ollie Samway, you'd think, will emerge out of Clark Curve as the class winner. Yeah, it's nothing like as close as the overall order, so Ollie Samways wins the category by 1.7 seconds from Chris Didcott. And James Jenkins third. A shame we needed to finish the lap early, but with that car in the gravel, that was necessary after what had been some good battling in the overall order during that race, Marcus.
Yeah, very much so. And entertaining mini racing from the Super Mighty Minis and Mighty Minis within this championship.
Everyone's flashing now. David Kirkpatrick and Greg Jenkins have both got their flashes going. As says 61.
Different pattern on the on that car.
Matthew Baker. Let's look at these results then. So 10 the winner, David Kirkpatrick by 0.2 of a second over Greg Jenkins, with Ian Slark third. Steve Rideout was fourth, ahead of Stuart Coombs and Matt Baker. Class A winner was seventh, that was Ollie Samways, with Chris Didcott eighth. James Jenkins and William Burnham complete the top 10, and William Tyrrell, Morgan Harris, Trevor Peters and Martin Hathaway complete the first page of results. Nigel Fraser-Kerr, James Bryan and Sam Slater on the lead lap. Morgan Bartley and Claire Jeffries went a lap down, and we lost Graham Shepherd in the closing stages, and Ned Kirkpatrick and Ben Butler earlier in the race. The minis will be back tomorrow, as will the Clios. We have Hot Hatch up next, which will be followed by F1000 Day, or both back tomorrow too. We're halfway through our race programme, with 5 races to come still this afternoon here at Brands Hatch. Stay with us here if you're at the circuit, or if you're watching on 750 Motor Club TV at home as well. And it's good to see a good audience that we have online today. In a few moments, the race winners will be making their way down towards the pit lane, and Kieran is already there, and he's about to have a chat with our race winners.
Well, the minis never, ever, ever fail to deliver. We have an absolutely fantastic race there, and we're going to try and talk to some of the winners here. So first of all, I want to talk to David Kirkpatrick. He managed to just fend off Greg Jenkins for an amazing win there. Congratulations, David. That was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that was quite an effort, actually, to be honest. I don't know what happened to my brother. He was out in front for a bit, and we were having a bit of a tussle, and then he went wide on Druids, and it was me and Greg for the restart. So yeah, good race, actually.
You and Greg had a fantastic tussle as well. It was must have been very difficult to keep him behind.
Yeah, he was. He got past me at one point, and then I just got him just on the after the restart here, and it was a good tussle. So yeah, pretty happy with that.
Yeah, congratulations on the win, and good luck for the rest of the weekend as well. Thank you. Now we'll talk to Greg Jenkins. Greg. Wow, that move into paddock, I was literally screaming at that. That was fantastic.
I can't remember much about it, to be honest, but yeah, I think Dave went a bit deep, and I think I tipped up the inside and got him at Druids, but that was close. That was good racing. Yeah.
It was very, very close. Watch the replay back, because literally as your car flicks in, it is incredible. So I would definitely recommend watching it back.
Oh, something to look at tonight in the hotel, in the air.
Absolutely. Well, do you think you can take the fight to him for the next race?
We'll give it a good go, won't we? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we if the tyres hold up, then we'll give it a good go. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, good luck for the rest of the weekend, and congratulations, second place as well.
That's great. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. And Ian, obviously you had a bit of spectatoring there for them too.
A little bit of spectating. Yeah. Clearly wondering whether it was all going to come to blows with those two, but I was waiting for the last lap, but it never happened. So it is what it is.
Do you reckon you take the fight to them for the next race?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I really had an answer of what to do on the last lap, but I was going to give something a try.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the podium, and good luck for the rest of the weekend. Cheers. And we're going to have one more interview, which is with Ollie Samways. So we just squeeze through here just a second, sorry. And so Ollie is our Class A winner. So he's always doing a piece to his phone at the moment. And if we can, just jump in a second. Congratulations. How was that race for you?
Absolutely mega. Yeah, what a way to start the year after last year, obviously winning the title and coming back in. Didn't know what to expect. We've had a few changes this year, and car's mega. Field much closer. So absolute shout out to Diddy in second place. He was pressuring me there and closing in. So yeah, incredible.
Feel the competition's really close this year?
Definitely, yeah, without a doubt. So it's going to be an interesting season.
And how are you finding the track conditions, obviously, because it was a bit wet this morning, it's a bit dry late now, and it might be a bit wet a bit later on and tomorrow. So how are you sort of thinking about that?
Yeah, I think it's cleared up mostly. I think the amount of vehicles that we've had on this morning obviously has cleared up a lot. Not too bad. Paddock's always greasy, but it is Paddock Hill Bend at Brands Hatch is the same. But the rest of it's pretty good. So tomorrow looks a bit interesting, was a bit changeable. So yeah, we'll wake up in the morning and see what we have to do. But yeah, amazing result, and looking forward to tomorrow.
Excellent. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you. And we'll head to a quick ad break. And then coming up next is the Hot Hatches, which, as you can see, are leaving for the track right now.